So it is assumed that the entry region exists up to the point where L equal to Ls over 2 equal to 8D. We assume, hey, after it reaches 8 diameter, it's okay. This is because it takes very long time for the last two slabs to merge. So first, you have 8 diameter. The slab length is 8 diameter, right? When you merge, the slab length becomes 16 diameter. If 16 diameter merge to each other, it will be 32. The stable slab size is not 8D, but it's 16. Okay, but I can say, hey, it takes quite a while, very long time. Like the velocity difference may be very less, so it takes too long to them to merge. So we say, hey, for the flow pattern prediction purpose, let's say L sub L equal to 8D is enough. Let's substitute the value in. We have to add everything together. Slab body length initially is 0. As the slab body blown through, the slab body length is double. Thus, for L sub L to be 8 diameter, it has to merge several times. The slab length will somehow have to start from 0, double, become Ls over 16, and then become Ls over 8, and then Ls over 4. Okay? So the time required for the slab length to grow until it has Ls over 2 or Ls over 4 become infinite series. Add T sub I together many times. I mean infinity times. Why do we need Ls over 4? Why is that? Maybe you may have some question in mind. Why do we need Ls over 4? Let's take a look at the equation and I will explain a little bit. Okay. First part. What is that? T sub I, right? That is T sub I. But this L sub Li is Ls over 4. Okay. So, and what about the rest? We just substitute the value in, right? This Ls over 4. Next is Ls over 8, Ls over 16. Add them all together, we get this infinite series. Okay, I asked myself, what is this about? Ls over 4. What is Ls over 4? Ls over 4 means initially, so we come back to the definition of L sub LL. So that length, right? That length, initially, if that length is L S over 4, how long does it take for this bubble to blow through that bubble and it merge? When it merge, it becomes Ls over 2, right? And what about Ls over 2 equal to 8 diameter? Where's that? We say Ls over 2 equal to 8 diameter. Where's that? We change that over that. You see that Ls? I change that. There's no way I can calculate anything until I substitute the value to be 8 diameter. Okay? This is the equation that we have. Is that the same as what in the book? Yeah, which page that we are talking about? So if we start with Ls over 4, when it merges, it becomes Ls over 2, right? And Ls over 2 should be equal to 8 diameter. Alright, so alright. Then I email Some professor, I don't remember, should have a title. Because this equation is not identical to your equation in the book for version 2005. But your version, maybe you bought the book after, it's the same, right? They made a correction. Okay. After I emailed them, yeah, there's a correction. So this is infinite series. We have to do summation from n equal to 2 to infinity of that expression. Okay? I did it. I get 3 point something. Okay? You can try and see what you get. You can try in Excel and see what you get. You don't need that many terms to reach to the asymptotic line. Substitute everything, I get this, 42. You see this number, put over there. Oh, here we go, 16 diameter. You see this LS, okay? And we have VTB stay over there, right? My summation is that, so it's here. When I substitute the value, 0.35 beta square root GD stay. But my LS, hey, stable slug length is 16 diameter. So I put it over there. Okay. The last one I didn't add it because they suggest too much until it's LS over 4. Alright. Then I substitute the value in, I get this. If you actually execute that, you get this, and eventually you get that. You should get like what I got, not what is in the book. But guess what? Eventually we plot it in the log scale. So in the book is what? What is the value in the book instead of 42.6? 40.6. There's no 2, right? When you plot in the log scale, you don't see anything different. Okay? But to the best of my knowledge, this is correct. I cannot say otherwise. I didn't say that. What's wrong, but this is correct. Alright, now you get the transition. You know how they get derived. Okay? And I hope the detail, you read it by yourself. Okay? But that is how I get that. It merged. Now the question becomes, what is L sub E? See that L sub E? Location. The length from the inlet. Shorter than which you have churn flow. Higher than which you have what? Slug flow. Churn flow is an entry region of slug flow. Yes, did you plot transition edge in your curve? Not yet. Victor, you did it? Oh really? You did this 15 hours. You did it already? Does it match with the one in the simulator?
But I use the values that you give us.
In the book? Does it match? Yeah. It's okay. Did you do this transition edge yet? Huh? Victor? Not Victor. What's his name? Isaac. No, not yet. Okay, try it. It's not that difficult, is it? No, you just need to know the location. Alright. Can you do the same thing for inclined pi if it is not 90 degrees? Yes or no? No one crash. I start with 90 degrees. This is the equation for 90 degrees, right? And the expression, the explanation is end here. Is there any part in this chapter that talk about other angle other than 90 degrees? Will our derivation work for something other than 90 degrees? Will it work?
But the equation has the original equation was Vn
Uh-huh.
We go to the original.
If we don't do 90 degree, maybe, okay. We need
Yeah, right.
some other term,
Yeah.
right?
There's another term. I think
There should be another term.
0.5.
But you can easily add it and tell me what it is, right?
But we need to write the equation for the center line too, or another position.
Oh, he's smarter than me. Eventually, it's not center line anymore because bubble, the middle of the bubble is kind of distorted. Alright? But when you have inclined pipe, okay, inclined pipe, bubble is not going to be like that, right? Sometimes horizontal flow, you have that as a bubble shape. A bubble shape, the center line gets distorted somehow. Okay. So, he's right. We cannot use center line anymore. But for just approximation, we may use center line. But again, for just approximation, we just say intermittent flow. Or if you want to say, hey, the one, you see the one in the lab that is a curve section, okay? Okay, the angle keeps changing and the transition changing. So we use flip-flop model, we do something else, okay? But if you want very precise for the incline, not 90 degree, maybe 80 degree, 85 degree, what is the shear flow line? You have to rederive it. Now, is the derivation useful? Yes. Before that, it may not quite until you do research. Alright. This explanation just basically this slide explain that what it is correct. Just that, in short. Okay. Now let's move to transition J. Any question for transition H? Do you Josh, can you do for 85 degree inclined pipe for transition H? If you have to rederive it, it's possible, right? But you have to try first before you can. But you see some way of doing it instead of I get blank. Let's just take a model. Let's just vertical. But it's okay. That is a good approximation. If you want something else, I can do it. I just have to rederive that coefficient over there. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Most likely, but you will try, no guarantee. Maybe you just change something over there, add another term, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Transition J. Let me quickly read this for you. In vertical angular flow, gas phase flow at the center line, liquid phase is pushed to the wall and flow upward in the form of a thin, very film. Liquid drop it torn away from the film and entrained in the gas core. What you have to know is entrained in the gas core. In angular flow, especially upward vertical angular flow, there's a droplet inside. It's not like nothing. There's droplet inside. Turner et al. Model used to calculate this transition. Is this good? Yeah, it's good, but later on we have a better model, okay, from Bernie. If the gas velocity is not fast enough to lift the droplet will fall back and accumulate, of course. Slab or shear flow may form in this case. So there's a competition between drag force and gravity force. This part is a drag force. Drag force that you have seen here is for friction, for external flow. For the one that you have seen, like 2F rho v square over there, that's for internal flow. But the formula is very similar. Instead of friction factor, we use C sub D, okay, for external flow. Flow across a sphere. Are we going to have the spherical shape? Perfect spherical shape every time? If the droplet is small, could be. But whenever it's big, maybe it's not a spherical shape. Will we have the same C sub D? No. It will be something else. But now you know, right? That hey, the model assume that. Okay. So drag force is of the pi d square over 4. That is surface area of the sphere. Rho v square over 2. Like this like F surface area. So it's like pressure. So F over area is like tau or pressure. Tau equal to F rho v square over 2 or something. It's analogous for the case of flow in the pipe. F sub g, gravitational force, pi d cube over 6. What is that? Yes. Pi d cube over 6. Volume of what? Spherical shape. Let me ask you this. Do you really think that every droplet has the same diameter? Okay, so one force is enough to lift it up, may not enough to lift another one up, right? Because it's not the same shape. So now you can see, okay, there could be some degree of empiricism inside. Because it has a distribution. Do we use, okay, let's assume the normal distribution. Is it normal or is it not normal? Oh, you see, this is a problem, right? So there's some degree of empiricism. But this is a theory. We derive this first, and then we deviate a little bit from this. Drag force compete with gravitational force. So if drag force is small, it gets lifted up, right? So at the transition, drag force equal to gravitational force. Rearrange it. Okay. When you look at the drag force has something to do with velocity. Okay. Velocity greater than this part is another flow. Gravity less than this part, Vg less than that part is not another flow. Okay, how do we do this, that? Where are those numbers from? Let's take a look at it. The droplet size is determined from the balance between the surface tension, force that hold everything together, and the impact force from the gas phase tend to break apart. This phenomenon quantified, we use Weber number. This number is to quantify the droplet size. Alright? Weber number, for very small, Weber number equal to 8. At the transition to annular flow, we don't have small bubble, we have large bubble. Weber number is between 20 to 30. Okay. If Weber bubble is known, d sub d can be calculated from this. Isaac, what is d sub d? Diameter of the pipe?
No.
Droplet. Okay, yeah, very good. So Weber number. If Weber number is known. Sigma, what's the unit of sigma? Newton per meter. Rho, kilogram per cubic meter. Meter per second. Weber number, dimensionless. Okay? So, from this and that, we substitute it in, we get this equation, 4.38. Okay. Taylor suggests a spherical shape or whatnot. Let's use 0.44. And let's select Weber number equal to 30. Okay. The liquid hole associated with this annular flow is very small. Why is it? Why can I say this? Liquid hole associated with annular flow is very small in the core part. Right? Or not just in the core, but everything. If we are going to have annular flow, we cannot have too much gas. Okay, let's assume Vg is approximately VSG. Approximately VSG. Now you see something. How can we do it like that? Never be correct. You see this? It's not the same. But okay, we'll assume this. Then our equation becomes that, put everything into the math, we get this. blah 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 equal to 3.1, shown to you last time. The assumption, A, everything is spherical shape, C something equal to 0.44, Weber number is 30, and we don't have much liquid, so VSG is VG. We don't do something like normal distribution, anything, it's just the same size. So there are some value associated with it, and we can correct it with this. So if we do like what I did, we get this equation. Now we get transition G. Transition G is just straight line. Okay. Side note for this is this equation 4.39.
So if the left hand side is greater than that,
If VSG is more, this means you have more drag. Then you have annular flow. If this is less than 3.1, you don't have annular flow. Okay, this is transition J, straight line. That's not correct, but we will talk about it. Okay, that equation is identical, almost identical for the result from Pashkin and Sorokin. Determine the air velocity necessary to lift the liquid film for flooding experiment tube 6 to 309 millimeter. Instead of 3.1, they use 3.2. Same thing that you try to do with that equation, you see. Okay. Correlate data terms of that number, variable number is that. Use dimensional analysis and experiment to arrive at this dimensionless number. Okay, it's cool. That is, look at that. Is that the same as that? Yes. It's cool, but it's not that cool because you have to use dimensional analysis. Buckingham theorem, do a bunch of experiments and eventually arrive at that. If, what, about 50 years ago or 60 years ago, if they had you say, hey, let's not start with too much experiment, don't do too much experiment, don't use Buckingham pi, do this. You can say, hey, that's the new dimensionless number, I derive it based on the balance between drag force and gravitational force. Same. See what I'm saying? So start with the theory, even though there's some unknown, we shorten the process a lot. Okay? And this is kind of confirmed. Okay, we get 3.1, it's okay. This matches with what we had previously. Then Tanner et al. Gave theoretical basis for those. Okay, sometimes you see this year, right? 21 years later, then they found the theoretical basis. They used something before that, oh, I don't know, it come from dimensional analysis. 21 years later, okay, now I know the reason for that. So it may take some time. Let's validate it. In this case, instead of J, they use letter E, okay? But basically, it's kind of match, sometimes it's mismatch for the annular flow. Title et al. Transition prediction show their prediction in the same order of magnitude. Same order of magnitude, not identical. See, there's a transition F, transition G, transition H, transition J. Sometimes we have transition A. So it's acceptable, and they plot it on a log scale. So when it deviates that much, it's maybe quite a bit more on the linear scale. But basically it works. Now you know how to do every flow pattern based on how many years? 38 years model, 38 years old model, 38 old model. Okay? For vertical flow, strictly vertical flow. Alright, now we focus on each flow pattern one by one. Let's focus on bubble flow. Let's recall what is the equation for bubble flow. Transition E. That's the equation, right? Transition E equation. Alright? Still recall that? That's transition E equation. So when we get transition equation, now let's get a pressure drop. So VSL, the void fraction, can be predicted by the equation given earlier. This equation comes from the part that we derived already earlier. But this time we use, okay, V0 infinity equal to that much. Put it that V0 infinity is a function of fluid property, purely fluid property. When you put it over there, I want to get void fraction, I have it everywhere. How do you solve it? Yes. One equation, one unknown. How do you solve it? Yeah, you know VSL, you know VSG, you know V0 infinity, you don't know alpha. But alpha, we define it implicitly. How do you get alpha? What method? You just say cosec. And if that doesn't work, okay, bisection is okay. But don't give me anything, it's not okay. Alright? Void fraction prediction can be proved by using Hassan-Cabré model. Okay? Gas velocity is the summation between bubble rise velocity and contribution of mixture velocity. So V0 is Vg minus V0 Vm. So this term is like bubble rise velocity, or kind of drift velocity. You remember VTB equal to V drift 1.2 Vm plus V drift or something. So instead of VTB we have Vg, okay, for this phenol shape. The flow distribution coefficient C0 is 1.2. It's between 1 and 1.5 for most probable value. Or you can do it in 5 minutes, can you? Write 2 equations, 2 pictures, 3 equations, 2 equations, 2 pictures, draw something, just do 5 minutes. Bubble rise velocity for bubble flow, we have that. Okay. That is for one bubble. One bubble. But for the group of bubble, we use bubble swarm velocity. Okay. Bubble swarm rise velocity is somewhat less than V0 infinity. Put it there. Zuber and Henge select the exponent to be that. So this is just V0 instead of V0 infinity. So if you need angle, they put angle in there, sine theta. So basically this equation is Vg equal to Vsc over alpha, and V0 sine theta is that thing. Okay. Combine everything together, we get this equation. Solve this equation, you see alpha to the power 1.5, alpha something, use cosec or whatever method, you get void fraction. Right? With void fraction, actual void fraction, not no slip void fraction. With void fraction, then we're done. You can calculate pressure drop. You can use bisection method. Okay. And pressure gradient, after you get hole up, after you get void fraction, you get hole up. You get average fluid property, get random number, and you just rho G sine theta is gravitational pressure loss. 2F rho V squared over D is a frictional pressure loss. Done. Calculate it like single phase. The key is get hole up. Get the right hole up. Or get the right void fraction. After that, do it like single phase. That's bubble flow pressure drop case.
Transition here.
It's not transition E. It's a After first step, you identify the transition. Once you know that it's bubble flow, this is how we calculate pressure drop. Good? Oh, I have 2 more minutes before the quiz. Slug flow. No, slug flow is a little bit long. How about this? Help me a little bit. You read this part. Okay? So next time we can go a little bit faster. And to ensure that you read this part, I think we will use a quiz question like the one that we discussed when Isaac is not here. When Isaac was not here. If you want to know what it is, watch the video. If you want to know what's that quiz about, watch the video. Face down. Write the name at the back. Okay, don't do it yet. Okay, we are going to do it in 5 seconds. 1, start. Is N at 12:20. Close book and close book. No calculator, no nothing, no trick. Okay. The question here is the same as question that I asked you at the beginning of the class.